G'day, it's Paul McWilliam here from Team McWilliam, and this is the Adelaide Real Estate Podcast, and I'm really excited to be joined today by Kayla Mcsporan. Now, Kayla, if you don't know who Kayla is, she is the owner, founder, director, the whole shebang of Fruitful Homes. Now, Fruitful Homes, and I'll let Kayla go into more detail about it, but she's there to help you. If you're considering renovating your property, Kayla's there as a sounding board, give you some advice, help you with planning, put together a whole package for you if you really want.
Yep.
So it goes from doing a little to a lot.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So, thought it'd be great to have a chat to Kayla because not everyone's an old hand at renovating and we need help. And that's what you're there for. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
No worries. So where can people find you? Before we get started into the nitty-gritty, where can they find you on social and all that sort of stuff?
Yep, I'm on social media on Facebook and Instagram, both under Fruitful Homes Adelaide.
Fruitful Homes, yep.
I have a website, which is www.fruitfulhomes.com.au.
Okay, cool, yep. Actually, I've seen your website. It's a lovely website.
Thank you, thank you.
And some examples on there of some of the work that you've done as well.
Yeah, there's a few example projects on there. And my Instagram feed also plays into my website. Okay. So, if you're not into Instagram, you'll see it on the website anyway.
Perfect industry for Instagram, though, with all those lovely photos.
It is, yeah. It's pretty important.
It is, it really is. And it's amazing how far we've come. When I first started in real estate, crikey, we get the old camera, we go and take photos, down to the chemist, and if we've really got, lashed out, we get the 1 hour processing. Put it in the window and then wait for people to drive past.
Yeah.
And then this high-fangled internet thing came along.
Oh, it's amazing.
It'll never last, they said.
And it's funny, that's actually how we were introduced to each other through Instagram.
So it's making the world a lot smaller.
It is.
And for people that are looking for ideas to renovate, it's a great tool, but it can be really confusing too, I guess, because there's so much information out there.
Yeah,
and it'd really be hard, I guess, if you're a bit like me and you're a bit wishy-washy and you think, oh, that's fantastic, that's a lovely shiny thing. And then, there's another lovely shiny thing to try and narrow down and plan and work out what's good for your house. So in a nutshell, what do you do? What is a renovation consultancy business?
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time trying to nut out exactly how to explain what it is I do. I'll start by saying I have 15 years of experience renovating houses, so that's really where my passion came from.
Wasn't just the one house, was it? It took you 15 years?
No, it wasn't. There was quite a few in that time. That would be a bit sad.
Yeah, it would be.
So I just developed a passion for real estate and for renovating, and I realised I had quite a knack for picking colours and finishes and really accentuating the original features of particularly older homes.
Yeah, so a real eye for design and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Great.
And I just really love restoring something, taking it from old and dated to into the 21st century. So
you're in the perfect city for that.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. I drive through the streets and think, I would love to get my hands on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So basically I put together renovation plans. Like you said before, it can be as little or as much as you want, but generally I like to work on a whole house renovation plan from front to back. And you don't need to do all the renovations at once. I understand that people have budgets and it might be a 10-year plan, but it's really important to look at the whole picture from the beginning so that you create...
So you're tying it all together.
Yeah, it's a nice cohesive finish. Yeah. Even if it takes 10 years, it looks like the front and the back.
So you're not ended up with like an Egyptian theme in your lounge room and something else over here.
That's right, yeah.
So some continuity there.
Yep.
And so you're really looking and working with people that have bought a home, need some renovation, but not necessarily they're doing a full-on extension or any building work as such. It's more the interior design and how the house works? Yeah,
I guess so. A little bit of building design as far as, if you wanted to create a more open plan living, a lot of older houses are kind of boxy.
Yes.
So maybe suggesting it's usually a structural wall, which is a little bit annoying.
Yeah, that's when the builders come in with their beams and extra thousands of dollars on the quote.
That's right, yeah. But it can make a massive difference.
Yeah.
And look, it can be as little as painting your house.
Yeah.
It's amazing what a coat of paint can do.
And it's amazing also with all the products they've got now with different windows and doors, being able to open up an old sliding door area.
Yeah.
With some lovely big bifolds.
Yeah.
Or, there's some really tricky stuff out there now.
Definitely. Yeah.
That just changes the whole feel of places, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That whole indoor-outdoor living's obviously on trend and has been for a long time.
Definitely.
And you can still do that without having to build on a big box on the back of your house.
You can, yeah. I'm pretty passionate about helping people to realise that you don't need to knock down that old 1960s cream brick home that is out of date. You can bring it into the now. You can make it modern. You can make it exactly what you want by adding things like those doors, removing some walls.
It's amazing what you can do.
Yeah, it is.
Because fundamentally they were very well built homes.
Oh, amazingly.
And we looked at one up at Panorama recently that they opened up the whole lounge kitchen area, and it pretty much felt like it doubled the whole living space because you lost hallway space, which is dead space in a lot of those homes.
Yeah.
And as I said, big cafe doors out to a deck area.
Beautiful.
So it fundamentally just doubled the whole living size of the house. And it wasn't a massive expense. It wasn't like they went and put on another 100, 150 square metres at the back.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. And I guess another passion is I speak to a lot of people in their early to mid-20s who really want to get into the market. They really want to get their foot in the door.
Yeah.
And
it's getting harder.
It's getting really hard, and really they feel like their only option is a house and land package.
Right.
And I just want to kind of give people another option.
Yeah.
You can buy that worst house on the best street.
Yeah.
You can renovate, and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. It can be within whatever budget you choose. You can
do it.
Yeah.
But I guess part of that, and I've seen this, in my 20 odd years in the industry, it's gone from people being a bit more content with something that's a bit rough to wanting to walk into the 4-bed, 2-bath,
yes,
butler's kitchen, the whole, the whole thing. So unfortunately, sometimes they just have to cut their cloth, to what, I don't know what the saying is, but what they can
stepping
afford.
Stone.
Stepping stone.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's and through the areas where we work in the inner south, there's a lot of character homes.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of these 1940s, 1950s, and 60s properties.
Yeah.
That, as we said earlier, are really well built. Generally have reasonable sized rooms. They've got timber floors. They've got high ceilings. There's a lot you can do with those properties.
Which is really what people want. People want timber floors.
They do.
That's the trend at the moment. That's an original feature that's already there. You don't have to pay to put
that's right.
floating floors all through the house.
On top of your slab or anything like that. Yeah, so it's there. So if someone contacted you and they see your information online, wherever, on social, what's the process? What do you do?
Generally, I like to start with a consultation, even if people are a little bit further along the line and they're ready to renovate.
Yeah.
I'll start with a consultation and just sit down and have a chat about what they're trying to achieve, a little bit about what their budget is like, because that's hugely important.
Yeah. No good you coming back with all these grand ideas.
Exactly. Yeah. And also the other really important thing is to determine what you're renovating for. Right. If you're renovating for it to be your forever home, it's going to be a very different renovation to what it is if it's an investment property or if you're renovating to sell.
Yes.
So establishing that first up.
And some people don't know why, do they? Sometimes they think, well, we just have to renovate, or our friends have renovated and we need to do something with it's looking a bit tired.
That's right, yeah.
So a bit of guidance there is probably very helpful for them.
Yeah, definitely. So generally just sit down. I take some photos on the first consultation as well, just so I can take them away and have a bit more of a think about things. Yeah. And
you can do floor plans and all that sort of stuff too, can't you?
Yes.
You've got the ability to do all that.
And I also like to get an idea of people's style at that point as well. Everybody likes different things.
Yes.
My personal opinion does not necessarily mean that that's what you should do to your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, a lot of people have Pinterest boards that they share with me, or we'll just sit down and scroll through the internet and find some pictures of that.
And that's such a good. You don't have to come in with a big stack of magazines or design books like you would have used to have done.
The internet is a glorious thing.
The iPad, away you go.
Yeah.
And then once you've put that together, you would then sit down with them and say, look, here's a concept. This is what I'm proposing. Yeah, based on all that information.
So as part of the consultation, I do put a concept together. I call it a style guide.
Yeah.
And that basically gives them an idea of the kind of direction I would be going in for their renovation.
Yes.
If they're happy to proceed from that point, it I create a full renovation plan, which has everything you need. Trade recommendations, tile choices, cabinetry choices, colours.
So you're putting, the rubber to the road and sourcing a lot of that stuff for them in terms of where they can go. And I guess you've picked up some good contacts over the years.
I have, yes, yeah. And I only recommend trades that I've personally used in the past. And there's no kickback for me. I don't get anything out of recommending them. It's purely that I trust them and I know they'll do a good job.
So it's peace of mind.
Reasonable price as well.
Yeah. Because that is a challenge, and it's a challenge that everyone has across a lot of services, finding people that you can trust.
Yeah.
You know you're going to get a good job. So personal recommendation is fantastic.
Definitely, yeah.
And also the fact that this is what you do, I know when we've done renovations, you think you might be getting a good deal, you think you might be buying at a good price.
Yeah.
But you don't really know.
No, I know. It's hard.
It is. So you'd be out there trying to find, obviously, the best deal in terms of costings and that sort of stuff for them.
But again, it depends on the reason for renovating. I mean, you're not going to go put an IKEA cabinet into a house that is your forever home. No. So, it completely depends on budget, and my choices will be based on that. So, I definitely try to find the best deals. I say I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, you like
pretty good
shopping.
At scouring the internet. Yeah.
And that's what people need, because we all live our own little insular lives, don't we? And we might only have ever gone to Bunnings.
That's right. Yeah.
We haven't considered anywhere else.
It's a big world.
It is.
Yeah. And also people are quite nervous about buying from certain websites.
Right.
And so to have somebody, all of the websites that I recommend, I've personally shopped at.
Purchased there.
Yeah,
so
either for a client or for myself.
The photo matches what you actually receive.
Yes, yeah. And I know that you're going to get what you've ordered.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be shipped in a reasonable time and all that kind of stuff.
We've all seen those pictures of the prom dress. Exactly. It hasn't quite turned out the way that it was portrayed on the internet.
Yeah.
So no, that's good. So it's an extra set of eyes and ears out there in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's right.
With that.
Yeah.
So you put together a plan, and I've seen one of your plans, and they're extremely detailed.
There's a lot of detail.
There's a lot of detail,
a lot of pages.
But it is great. It's really good, because that's what you want. You want someone, and it doesn't mean they have to exactly do what you are suggesting.
Not by any means.
Yeah, but
it's
it gives them a
guide.
foundation and a framework, I suppose.
Yeah.
This is the direction we're going in, and then if they decide that, okay, once it's all come together, maybe that's we need to turn left a little bit.
Yeah.
You can help them with that as well.
Yeah. I say when I put a renovation plan together for somebody, I'll stay in contact for the next 5 or 6 years, or however long their project is. But if it's a long-term project, I'll stay in contact with them for that whole time, for the duration of the project. And then if they have any questions, if they want to change something,
available.
I'm there to help.
Yeah. You're not going to be here and then ghost them for the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't just create it and
just
move
see you
on.
Later.
Yeah, and personally, I like to see the finished product.
Well, absolutely.
It's amazing for me to see a plan that I've put into place come to fruition. So
very gratifying.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I've seen a few of the photos and they look fantastic.
Yeah. And the clients are always stoked. They love it. Yeah. So
Well, that's what you want.
That's right.
You don't want them saying, "I hate this house."
I wish we didn't do that.
Oh, look, no. So that's fantastic. So, and I put you on the spot a bit early before we started the interview, asking you what would sort of 2 or 3 tips you'd give people if they were considering doing a reno. Now, some people are old hands and they've done it, and and it's people watch the TV shows, they watch The Block and all this sort of stuff. And I know in our industry, selling homes, it's not as easy as they make it look.
No, it's not.
And you can talk to that. But, there's 2 or 3 things that you'd say, these are the things that you really need to consider, or these are the things that rooms or whatever you'd recommend attacking first if you're undergoing a renovation.
Yeah. I guess as far as a cost-saving measure, one of the things I would suggest, if you have time, is to enlist your own trades. Don't just go to any building company and get them to manage the whole thing, unless you need to.
Yeah.
But if you've got some time and you can manage some trades yourself, really all you need to know is the order in which the trades need to be
there.
Yeah. And
because they will add a percentage, won't they? If they're overseeing the whole thing.
100%.
So there's some extra cost there. Now, to some people, that's great because it's a bit of an insurance policy for them.
There's a place for everything.
Absolutely.
There definitely is. But if you're on a restricted budget, that is definitely a place you can save money.
So you can save some money pretty much straight off the top doing that.
Yeah.
Without sacrificing the workmanship and
that's
what
you're
getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And look, YouTube and doing a podcast, we're doing videos and a lot of this stuff, and it's maybe not the best quality, but it's all learnt on YouTube.
Yep.
And YouTube is a great source of information.
It's amazing, yeah.
So you can look up, how to do stuff.
Well, this is actually another tip I was going to
Sorry, I've stolen thunder there.
No, you kind of alluded to the next one, so it's good. Nice segue. Don't be afraid to do things yourself, I guess, is another tip. Obviously, you can't do electrical and plumbing and all those types of things, but have a go at painting, have a go at particularly demo projects. If you're putting in a new kitchen, don't pay somebody to take the old one out. Pull it out yourself.
Yeah.
There's no point in paying a tradesperson to do general labour, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you're able and willing and you want to save some dollars, that is definitely a way to do it as well.
Because it's really easy. You order a mini skip. It's just getting your rolling up your sleeves and getting into it, basically. Mm-hmm. Something that, look, you obviously need, if there's any suspicion there's asbestos and stuff like that, do all your due diligence. But that's a really good way of saving money again.
Yeah.
But it also, what I've found, we put up ceilings and we had someone come in and flush them, but we actually put up the plaster ourselves. You get a real sense of accomplishment.
Oh, and forever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look what I did.
Yep.
And I guess that helps with some pride in the property too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think people are a bit scared and they think, the trade isn't going to want me to be involved. But to be honest, the trades love it if somebody wants to do the demo work for them.
Yeah.
That's something that they don't have to do then.
They love walking into a kitchen space that's ready just for them to bloody start either measuring up or just installing.
Yeah. And ask questions. When they come to quote the job, ask as many questions as you can possibly think to ask, because they are more than willing to give you that information.
Yeah.
If you seem interested, and they'll talk forever.
Yeah.
So,
the good ones, because they love what they do, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they really do. And they've obviously been through it, so they can see the pitfalls as well. They can hopefully steer you in the right direction.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's a couple of really good tips. So I won't put you on the spot too much more after that. So if someone wanted to get in touch with you, the process would be just hit you up either by social, through your website.
Yep.
And we'll put links to all that on the video and in the podcast notes. And then it's basically just having a consultation, just eyeball the property.
That's right.
And then talk about what they want, what their needs are.
Yep.
And away you go.
Yep. Yeah. And quite often as well on that subject, people are wanting to renovate a property they haven't yet moved into. They've purchased it, but settlement hasn't gone through or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to, if the agent wants to,
if you can get access.
I'm more than happy to just do a quick walkthrough before you move in, just to get an idea, or even just look at images on the internet.
Yeah.
Gives me a bit of something to start with.
And would you do that if someone's looking at purchasing a property that they haven't actually purchased? Would you be is that something, a role you could do?
For sure,
Or something that you go and say, well, look, I think this has got some really good bones.
Yep. I've done that a couple of times actually. Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't get it. They didn't get the property, but it is a good idea. I mean, if you're really stuck, just having a second set of eyes on the property that you're thinking of buying is.
It's amazing we do it all the time as well, and we talk to people and you look at, how did you do that?
Yeah.
And it's, we just moved this door, and that has just changed the house so much.
Exactly,
Something that we may not have seen, and then vice versa, we can give people ideas on that as well. So I think that extra set of eyes, because it's, we all drive to work the same way. We go to the same supermarket. So sometimes we have a bit of a closed mind about things.
Yeah.
And it's really good to have someone come in and just help you with all that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I think what you're doing is fantastic.
Thank you.
As I said, we'll link to everything again. Just quickly again, you're on Instagram, Facebook
under Fruitful Homes Adelaide.
Yeah.
And
you'll be on YouTube soon when this video goes up.
YouTube. And my website is www.fruitfulhomes.com.au.
And you've won some awards, I hear.
The East Side Business Awards ran, I think it was the third time last year, and I won the Best Emerging Startup Business. So thank you.
Well done. That's good.
Thanks. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and all those things, I guess from a client's point of view, they help with confidence that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But it's a good little boost to the confidence as well.
Oh, it is, and it's a great initiative by the council and News Corp. They put the awards together. So it's
because you're basically a startup. You're out that you're doing this yourself.
Yep.
There's not a team of 50 people
it's
behind
just me.
it. So, that's a great award to have won. So thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
No problems. Thanks for having me.
I hope I press record on the camera and
fingers crossed.
the recording equipment and it all worked. So thanks, Kayla. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Well done.